Thank you for attending the financial results briefing of LIFULL, Tokyo Stock Exchange 2120. We will now begin the financial results briefing for the second quarter of the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2021. First, let me introduce the participants. Representative Director, President and Managing Officer, Mr. Takashi Inoue. Directors and Managing Officers, Mr. Takashi Yamada and Mr. Yuji Ito, as well as Managing Officers Mr. Keizo Tsutsui, Mr. Yukihiro Hada, Mr. Kohei Kawasaki, and Mr. Hidekazu Fukuzawa. In today's presentation, Mr. Inoue will begin with an overview of the financial results and the status of the business, followed by a question and answer session. Thank you very much for joining us today for the presentation of our second quarter financial results. Before I get started, let me discuss the overall picture. It has been a little over a year since the start of the coronavirus pandemic. As treatments and government strategies in response to the pandemic have developed, the uncertainty in the business environment has largely abated, and I feel that the situation has become controllable to some extent. Thirdly, although this is also related to the coronavirus pandemic, the digital transformation of the real estate industry has been advancing at a very rapid pace. I believe this is a tailwind for our business environment. My fourth point is that, as has been reported in the news, enough vaccines have been procured for Japan and should be administered quickly. Preparations are being made for several methods of vaccination, including using private organizations to administer them in the workplace. If we can make this happen, I'm very hopeful that it will be a great improvement not only for our business environment, but for society as a whole. In this situation, we have to take action. We are continuing to invest in the evolution of our business model, including our main and new businesses. We are making preparations to be ready when the environment improves. I will now present in accordance with the materials. Today I would like to talk about our financial results and the figures first. Then I will explain the progress of each of our businesses, including our core segments, home services, overseas, and other businesses. Finally, I will explain the LIFULL Group's management approach and fundamentals. We will then move on to a Q&A session. First, I'd like to start with our financial results. The Y-on-Y gap in domestic revenue shrank to minus 6.9% as recovery in the domestic business continues. Since we're actively investing in the growth of our domestic business, operating income was down 25% and net income was down 28% Y-o-Y. Sales were 17.8 billion yen. We are controlling SG&A expenses as sales and top-line results continue to reflect the current social circumstances. SG&A expenses were 13.8 billion yen, down 3.9%. The main breakdown of personnel expenses is as shown below in the third column marked with an asterisk. On a non-consolidated basis, LIFULL raised salaries by 10%, and this includes an increase in welfare expenses. This is due to the fact that most work is done from home, and we would like to use the reduced commuting and transportation costs to increase employee-based salaries and improve their working environment. In terms of advertising expenses, there was a 10.9% decrease, as indicated by the asterisk. We are investing aggressively in Japan. However, in our primary overseas markets of Europe, Central and South America, and North America, the impact of the coronavirus pandemic is continuing, so we are making considerable reductions to advertising expenses overseas. In addition, as mentioned in the notes, we have been able to significantly reduce our sales expenses by actively utilizing online tools and changing to a remote sales style, resulting in significant reductions to our sales expenses. Next, I would like to talk about sales revenue and profit and loss by segment. Although sales have decreased due to the impact of the coronavirus pandemic, our trend towards recovery has been continuing both in Japan and overseas. This will be explained in more detail on page 9 onwards. Overseas, despite the decrease in sales, we have been implementing cost controls as I mentioned earlier, and we also had a transfer of development personnel expenses. As a result, we were able to achieve a significant increase in profit. In terms of numbers, home service sales were 13.6 billion yen, a decrease of 4.9%, and are currently on a gradual recovery trend on a monthly basis. Overseas sales were 3.2 billion yen, down 17.7%. But if you look at the segment income and loss below, Home service sales were 1.5 billion yen, down 33%. This means that the impact is mainly due to labor costs and the increase in employees' base salaries. On the other hand, as a result of cost control, overseas sales were 734 million yen, an increase of 87.3%. In other areas, there was a decrease of 88 million yen. This is mainly due to an increase in expenses for our regional revitalization activities, which include a variety of projects. Investment is slightly ahead of schedule due to the steady expansion of these projects. We will explain this later as well. Next, I'd like to talk about the statement of financial position and the status of goodwill. Current assets are 22.1 billion yen, and the main item was a negative 1.8 billion yen in cash and deposits. This will be explained in the next page. Current liabilities were 14.4 billion yen, a decrease of 1.6 billion yen. This is mainly due to short-term loans payable, accrued income taxes, accrued consumption taxes, and provisions for bonuses. As a result, total equity was 35.3 billion yen, a plus of 1.6 billion yen. The details regarding the current status of goodwill are available at the bottom of the page. Next, I would like to take a look at our cash flow statement. Cash and cash equivalents decreased by 1.8 billion yen from the end of the previous fiscal year to 14.1 billion yen due to the payment of bonuses, taxes, and dividends. As you can see from the operating cash flow, other is 1.5 billion yen, and as indicated by the asterisk at the bottom of the page, this is mainly for provisions for bonuses and accrued consumption taxes. In addition, the tax payment below that is 990 million yen. As for the investment cash flow, there was an expenditure associated with the acquisition of a business. Cash flow from financing activities was 697 million yen due to the payment of dividends. As a result, the balance of cash and cash equivalents was 14.1 billion yen. Regarding progress toward our forecast, sales revenue is at 46.4%, which is slightly behind the turnaround point. The recovery trend is continuing, and we are expecting a turnaround in the second half of the fiscal year. At the same time, we are also controlling SG&A expenses, which have reached 46.1% of the forecast. Operating income and net income have each exceeded 50% of the forecast. By segment, progress is 46% for home services, 50% for overseas, and just under 39% for other businesses. We've established our midterm management plan through the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2025, and are working hard to achieve this goal. Our primary focal point within the management plan is home services, where we are working to increase our market share. With the further development of our omnichannel services, including changes in business models, we have been offering more face-to-face consultations to home seekers. We will also make more progress in the digital transformation of the real estate industry, including their shift online. As for our overseas segment, our strategy is to move from aggregation sites to portal sites in order to assist with more of the transaction. This will also be explained in detail later. In regard to other businesses, there are two main types. These are regional revitalization and projects related to senior citizens. Currently, there are many social and industry-related issues in the field of housing, both in Japan and overseas. In addition, as many of you are aware, there are issues with the rural development of Japan, such as the problem of vacant houses and the fact that half of all municipalities in rural areas have the potential to disappear. The main pillar of our midterm plan is to work on solving social issues through these existing businesses and grow through finding solutions to social issues. Now let me explain each segment individually. In the home services segment, the key indicators are the growth in our client network and ARPA, which as you can see at the bottom right is the average revenue per agent. We are trying to expand our business by multiplying these two factors. Even under the influence of the coronavirus pandemic, our client network has been greatly expanding, including in more rural areas thanks to our online sales activities. Sales are continuing to recover, but ARPA, which is calculated by dividing total sales revenue by the number of agents, is currently 79,622 yen. Although ARPA has declined recently, our sales results have been improving, so I believe that ARPA will grow in the future. For the home services segment, we want to give each user access to more information in order to be able to find the perfect home. This has been our goal since our founding. Let me introduce some of the features of this service. We have options for users who are not sure how to narrow down their preferences in a conventional search, or those who would like to move to a new home if there's a better fit. That is to say, we want to make it easier and more convenient for these users, so we've added notifications of new listings via line. If a new property matches a user's criteria, they will receive that information on an app they're already using, without having to search for it. And that's just the beginning. Also, since March, we have expanded our search features to include a new function that allows users to search based on their current accommodation. It automatically extracts the amenities and conditions of their current residence. For example, if you put in the name of an apartment and the number of a room, the system will read it from our database in advance and automatically extract it. If you want a slightly more spacious apartment, or if you want to move to a place closer to a train station, you can specify the conditions that you want to change, and we will provide the properties that match those conditions. As a result, the convenience of users has been greatly improved, and the registration rate of favorite properties has increased. Not to mention, the conversion rate of inquiries from the list of search results is higher than that of normal searches. Next, I would like to give you a look at some of our promotional activities. We continue to work aggressively in Japan to improve our media presence. We're doing this in a variety of different ways, mainly through television and internet media. First of all, in the past, our television commercials were usually concentrated in the peak season of January, February, and March, but this year we extended that to include November and December. In addition, we've extended our broadcast area to include the regions listed here, the largest ever. We've also released videos on YouTube, and some promotions and campaigns have received over 60,000 views. On top of that, we have also announced the Popular Cities Ranking 2021 in a recent press release. Due to the coronavirus, the number of people who want to live in more suburban areas or even in the countryside because they can work from home is increasing. Due to its very different lineup, the ranking for 2021 received considerable attention. Through these efforts, we are raising awareness and increasing brand recognition for LIFULL Homes. Traffic and inquiries over LIFULL Homes have also made significant progress. Although a state of emergency was announced during the quarter, organic traffic has significantly increased, with a jump of nearly 40% compared to the previous year. As a result, the number of inquiries has been steadily increasing, and in the second quarter, it was 13.8% higher YOY. So as you can see, we're providing significantly more value to our clients. If this trend continues, the sense of uncertainty is dispelled, and vaccines become more widely available, this will be a good opportunity for a reversal. As for the progress of the omnichannel strategy, the number of consultations at Sumai no Madoguchi has also grown 1.5 times compared to the previous year. In addition, although we have focused primarily on the Tokyo metropolitan area in the past, we have opened up 3 branches in the Kansai region, and the number of consultations from people living in the Kansai region has increased significantly. For these reasons, we will continue to expand our service area, and although the number of people we are assisting is increasing, the level of user satisfaction is phenomenal, with 99.4% of users being satisfied with the service. As I mentioned at the beginning, the digital transformation of the real estate industry is also a tailwind. Specifically, it is already possible to not only search for properties, but also to consult with real estate agents, go on property viewings, and conduct verbal sales disclosures all online. As a positive sign, previously only rental units were allowed to complete transactions online, but due to a change in the interpretation of the law, this has been extended to properties for sale as well beginning in April. So, for home seekers, finding a new place to live is becoming easier and more convenient online. With this in mind, we're using an online tool called LIFULL Homes Live, and the number of online consultations, property viewings, and disclosures has grown significantly by 67.4%. We've also initiated a project called Friendly Door to solve social issues in the area of finding a place to live. As you can see on the left-hand side of the page, Friendly Door is a service that allows elderly people, non-Japanese residents of Japan, LGBTQ+ people, welfare recipients, single mothers and fathers, disaster victims, etc., to search for real estate agencies that can help them find a place to live. In the past, members of these vulnerable communities were sometimes rejected when they were screened for rentals because of worries about their income. But with the impact of the coronavirus, everyone has been at home for a very long time now, and people's living environments have become more important. As I'm sure you're all aware, we have once again recognized that housing is a basic human right. It's a necessity for everyone. For example, it's difficult for elderly people or non-Japanese people living in Japan to move to a new home. We feel that we have to solve this issue, so we're expanding our network to help support these people with the cooperation of numerous real estate companies. We've also been holding seminars, and the number of supporting real estate agencies and endorsing companies is gradually increasing. It's currently over 2,700. We will continue to work together to improve the industry and provide services that are close to our users. Next, I will talk about our overseas business. Regarding LIFULL Connect, the impact of the coronavirus continues to be felt overseas more so than in Japan. However, sales and earnings are continued to recover gradually. In addition, since we have been implementing cost controls while remaining conscious of profit margins, we are in a position to significantly increase profit. As you can see in the graph, there was a sharp drop in sales revenue in the past fiscal year due to the impact of the coronavirus pandemic, but recovery has continued with each passing quarter. Additionally, through the transfer of advertising expenses and development personnel to assets, operating income has doubled from the previous year. Here you can see that our ability to attract new users is also expanding steadily. The amount of traffic has continued to grow with more users than before the coronavirus pandemic. Compared to last year, the ratio of paid traffic has decreased, resulting in a significant increase in organic traffic. Specifically, there has been an 11.6% increase in organic traffic. LIFULL Connect is the product of the integration of several companies and has been expanding its scope of real estate information services around the world. Until now, we have had the aggregation site Trovit and Mitchula, as well as Nestoria, Nuroa, and other brands and individual sites. Also, we have acquired various other portal sites such as iCasas, .property, and HipFlat, which have been acquired through mergers and acquisitions. We've been expanding our global network of aggregation and portal sites to offer people around the world access to a vast amount of information to find the perfect place to live. Here you can see the figures for the portal business, excluding aggregation. Our client network has grown by 22%, listings by almost 50%, and the number of users has increased by 20%. Although the coronavirus pandemic has had an impact, the number of inquiries has also increased by 15%. We're looking forward to expanding the scale of our business in the future as well. One of the issues we've been facing so far is that we have multiple sites for various brands, so we're gradually introducing a system to utilize these sites in a comprehensive manner. In particular, we're operating portal sites in Latin America and Southeast Asia. Currently, we're providing a CRM-like management tool, Propit, for real estate businesses. LIFULL Connect allows realtors to list properties on multiple brand sites at once, and to centrally manage inquiries from those sites, simplifying management for those real estate professionals. Realtors can therefore list over a wider area, receive more inquiries, and properly track their customers. This system is now being introduced. Realtors implementing Propit have seen the number of views increase up to 6-fold, and the number of inquiries around 3.5-fold. Propit has currently been introduced to about 23% of clients in Latin America and 7% in Southeast Asia. However, since Propit has led to a 6-fold increase in visibility and a 3.5-fold increase in the number of inquiries, we hope to reach 100% expansion of this service in each area. For the remaining time, I will give a brief explanation of other priority areas. As part of our efforts in regional revitalization, we have been operating Living Anywhere Commons. The influence of the coronavirus pandemic has led to the diversification of work styles, and as you may be aware, teleworking in rural areas is becoming a more mainstream way of working and living. There's been a drastic change in the thinking of cities where people want to live, with more people now turning their attention to rural and suburban areas. In the midst of this, Living Anywhere Commons has expanded to 14 locations nationwide, and plans to expand to 25 locations by the end of September of this year. On average, about 30 people can stay at each location, including overnight stays, and telework is possible. As a result, the number of users has increased more than 7-fold compared to the previous year. The Cabinet Office of the Japanese government and other organizations have used Living Anywhere Commons as a case study at review meetings where they have given detailed presentations. Social and individual behaviors are changing, and I think we're doing a good job of keeping pace with the current trends. Next, I would like to touch on our initiatives for senior citizens. Our subsidiary, LIFULL Senior, currently offers business support services for nursing care facilities. Originally, LIFULL Senior started its business by operating a website called LIFULL Co, which has already become one of the largest search sites for nursing homes and care facilities in Japan. Now, LIFULL Senior has expanded its business scope to include, for example, services to assist people with finding and comparing companies which specialize in organizing the belongings of deceased family members. They also offer another service called Tayorini, which provides information about nursing care. In addition, we're now offering a service called Kaimono Connect, which is designed to simplify the shopping process for staff members working in nursing homes. In addition, although not mentioned here, we're currently considering the introduction of additional businesses for the new elderly market, for which we hope to announce more details in the near future. Finally, I would like to share with you our management approach and then move on to questions. We are a group of companies that have come together to solve social issues based on our aspirations, so we use the term will-centric public interest capitalism. We're committed to practicing our credo of altruism and paying particular attention to all of our stakeholders. First of all, we use the word consumers and not users to describe the individuals who utilize the services we provide to enrich their lives. We've even expanded this term to include those who are not yet users of LIFULL homes, senior citizens, or regional revitalization projects. For businesses and clients, we're gradually introducing services that will improve the operational efficiency of each business. We are also working to build the best team in the world so that our colleagues and employees will be happy to work for this company and for this group. At the same time, we also focus open innovation through industry-academia collaborations with businesses and collaborative partners, real estate information consortiums, and universities. In the future, we will continue to focus more than ever on our shareholders with an awareness of total shareholder return. Regarding society as a whole, we have started our regional revitalization business and created our internal corporate responsibility program, 1Ps, and have implemented the 1% rule, as well as other non-business activities focused on solving social issues. You may be aware of the approach of Salesforce. The company is committed to investing 1% of its employees' working hours, 1% of its profits, and 1% of its products in social contribution activities. We're also following this approach. Finally, with regard to the global environment, we've been investing in and collaborating with startup businesses that place importance on the SDGs, ESGs, and the environment, and have been promoting management that pays due consideration to these issues as well. Next, I would like to focus on one of the points on the previous slide, building the best team in the world for our employees. In 2017, we were voted number 1 in Japan. In the midst of the current coronavirus pandemic, we have focused on improving the well-being of each and every employee. We introduced new work rules, raised employees' base salaries, and took other prompt actions. As a result of these initiatives, we were nominated for a Best Motivation Company Award by Lincoln Motivation and came in 3rd place. We've been told that it's very difficult for a company of our size to achieve this ranking, so we're very proud of what we have achieved. The reasons for the award were our quick implementation of teleworking, introduction of a free seating arrangement in the office, and 10% base salary increase. We also allow employees to work at Living Anywhere Commons locations outside of urban areas. I am very proud that we have received this honor. I hope that through the presentation today, you are able to see that through our business activities, we are advocating the concept of a social enterprise. For us, a social enterprise is a company that works to solve social issues, and we aim to develop our own business by solving social issues and making people's lives full. In this way, we hope to make every life full. Thank you very much for your support. This concludes my explanation. Question: when do you expect overseas sales to recover to pre-coronavirus levels? And what percentage of sales growth do you expect after the recovery? Answer. To be honest, it is difficult to predict when the coronavirus will subside in Europe, North America, Central and South America, and Southeast Asia, so our plans have been somewhat conservative. As I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, after the vaccination rate increases and herd immunity has been achieved in Japan and other countries, there will probably be a major reversal. As you are aware, the coronavirus situation differs by country. In the US, vaccines have already been administered, so the situation has improved considerably. But in other countries, infection rates are still high. Specifically, in France, for example, the number of new infections dropped yesterday. However, the figure is still more than 20,000 people, so it's very difficult to predict. We're taking a conservative point of view, but we're confident that we will be back to pre-pandemic levels where we were 2 years ago in the second half of the next fiscal year. As for the current growth rate, I expect it to return to double digits. In addition, the lockdown situation and vaccination rates are different in each country, so we will continue to monitor the situation closely, control costs, and aggressively increase sales in countries where the situation has settled down. To summarize, we're providing services in 60 different countries, so there's uncertainty about the timing as there is recovery in some countries and a severe downturn in others. However, when the issues subside and the situation reverses, we can expect a growth rate of around 20%. Question: will the main focus of LIFULL Homes be on increasing the number of customers and ARPA, or will you strengthen your sales activities and charge higher prices? Answer: this is a question about ARPA, but I would like to add some additional clarity. The client network is progressing well, and there are two main reasons for this. One reason is that we have received large orders from major companies that have hundreds of stores throughout Japan. Another reason is that we released a special plan with a limited number of products that can be used at a lower price in order to increase the number of members, and this plan was widely accepted. This has resulted in a steady increase in the number of members. However, the second plan that I mentioned earlier is a low-cost plan with a low initial unit price, and this is partly the reason for the downward pressure on ARPA. I would say about one half of the downward pressure is due to this. The other half of the decline is due to the fact that some of our existing customers are cutting back on their advertising costs. The market is experiencing strong sales, especially in properties for sale, and inventory is inevitably decreasing. We have received some reports that there are considerably less properties that can be listed on websites. We believe that this is also contributing to a decline in ARPA. However, at the moment, we're currently on a recovery trend and some properties are coming back. So we believe that we can increase the number of such properties and also increase our sales activities in the future. Question: I understand that to raise ARPA, your company has increased the number of referral customers to strengthen the core business and expand market share. However, the company also provides support services for business and online services. Could you tell us how you view the scope for monetization in these areas? Answer: we believe that the matching business, which is the core of our business, is the main driver, so we will continue to focus on this business. However, as you asked, as digital transformation in the real estate industry progresses in the future, I believe there will be an increase in demand for tools and services that support business operations and streamline the operations of real estate companies. Question: could you please provide the status of inquiries by individual market, such as rental or sale, during the second quarter? Answer: although we are unable to provide detailed figures, the market is showing a very strong growth rate, mainly in the area of properties for sale and purchase. However, at present, the rental market is also showing very strong numbers. Therefore, we feel that the rental market is gradually recovering. Question: you say that you are taking various measures and that we should look forward to a reversal after the coronavirus pandemic, but I have a question about what will change for the company as a whole. Please tell me what investors should expect, whether it is a market share expansion or increases in sales or an operating margin. Answer: in terms of the midterm management plan for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2025, our goals related to sales, market share, and operating are unchanged. Our target operating profit margin is around 20%. However, since this is a midterm plan, I've mentioned that we are making investments to further involve our core business, LIFULL Homes, during the course of the plan. I can't give you too many details here because of our competitive strategy, but we will invest in this area, and when it bears fruit in the next few years, we hope to achieve our midterm targets in the 4th or 5th fiscal year of the plan. This is with respect to our sales, revenue, and profit margins, so these are the expectations I would ask you to have. Question. As for the progress of ARPA on page 10, is there any decline in existing customers? You also have a website called Cambia that you have acquired, which is in the real estate investment area. I was wondering if you could give us an update on the revenue contributions and synergies resulting from that website. Answer. Firstly, the number of partner realtors has greatly increased, with no decrease in the number of existing customers. Although this is partially a repeat of my previous answer, I believe that one of the reasons for the downward pressure on ARPA is the expansion in the client network, and another is the effective restraint on advertising expenses by some of our existing clients. However, as we have already reported, the market is on a gradual recovery trend, so we would like it to work to increase the numbers of clients, including through our sales activities. As for our synergy with Cambia, we are currently working on it internally. As for the other websites which we operate, Cambia and LIFULL Home's real estate investment are both growing very strongly. We are now in the process of setting up a synergy project within the company and are thinking of various ways to achieve synergy in sales activities, website synergy, and content synergy. Cambia has already made great contributions to our sales and profits since the acquisition. With regard to synergies, we will integrate systems, share personnel, and take other steps to increase profitability with the original LIFULL Home's real estate investment platform and gain market share. In the midterm plan, we will strive to catch up and surpass some of our competitors who are already listed on the stock exchange.